All right, everyone, we're going to get started. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for coming in. So I'm sorry that there's not food ready for you just yet, but Tanisha and Martina are outside waiting to get the pizza up here. And I promise we'll take a break during the presentation so you guys can get some food. But let's go ahead and start this presentation. So today we're doing a Postdoc Affairs Year in Review. It's also known to us as our WIP, our work in progress. We just wanted to share with you guys, and the coffee has come. Maybe I can pause and let you guys go get some coffee. Okay, we'll set up. All right, let me just keep going. So yeah, we just wanted to find some time to talk to you guys about what we've been working on in our office and where we moving forward this year. And before I begin introducing our whole team, my name is Arti Jahangir. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Associate Director of the Postdoc Affairs, as well as Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, which I'll be working more coming this year. We have Catherine Penn-Mackey, who is our Project Manager. We have Keith McCauley, who is the Associate Dean. Outside, we have Tanisha Oliver, who has been our project coordinator and has been here longer than I have. And most recently, we've had a postdoc in our office, Fatima Saldana Morales, who isn't here today because she went and got a job, which is what we all want our postdocs to do, is like to go and get another job. So she's at UVA, University of Virginia. And she's also running the postdoc office down there. I think this would also be a good time to mention that we are going to have a new administrative postdoc. So this is a postdoc who doesn't actually work in the lab, but will be working with us in our office, learning the ropes of academic administration. Her name is Pamela Hirschberg, and she's on Zoom listening in. Hopefully she's in the lab right now, but she'll be joining us at the end of March. So our team will still stay that size. And we'll also have a postdoc, a former postdoc who's going to be coming on board to do some consulting work. So Gabby Stevens. All right. So so I know you guys know that we're a postdoc office, but it sometimes is important for you guys to know that we are here to both support you and make sure that you're visible to the organization. So I looked up what the number was of how many employees are part of this organization. Does anybody have a number? Can anybody guess? How much? Anybody else? How much? 20? Any other guesses? Higher? Lower? It's 47,588 people. So postdocs make up around 500. So that's like just 1% of the entire organization. So I think it's really important to make sure that those who are so pivotal to our groundbreaking biomedical research that our organization is so proud of, to make sure that you guys have as much support as you possibly can. So I'm just going to kick it off and just explain to you why we do what we're doing, and to give you some insights to our long-term goals. So if you go to NYU Langone Health or the School of Medicine's website, and you actually look for like careers, you're like, I want to apply for a job here. They have values, and every organization has values. And this sort of sets the tone or the culture of what our organization either strives to be or is already. So the values for NYU's School of Medicine the acronym is called PRIDE. It's performance, respect, integrity, diversity, and excellence. So these are the things that administration and leadership think about when they're thinking about how to prioritize different initiatives at this organization. And this is what we do as well. So I want to make sure that this is not like just a passive meeting where you guys are just listening to us talk. So I wanted some interaction here. So I wanted to pause and see if you guys can actually share some of the values that you guys uphold or live by while you're a postdoc. So to join, you can either use the QR code or you can go on your phone at slido.com and put in this number, and we can see, hopefully, if it works, I can see your answers in real time.
Yeah, your answers are gonna pop up here, so.
But it'll be anonymous.
Yeah, guys.
This is great. I'm glad you guys are humoring us here. I really like a lot of these values here, and I think it's a great way to even start off the year to sort of calibrating and thinking about what actually are the values that you live by every day that you come in here and you're doing your postdoctoral research. I see like both excellence and integrity. That means that you're kind of aligned with the organization's mission, which I hope that like helps you going down your route. But I see other things like growth, career advancement, teamwork, joy, exploration. These are very important in terms of like making sure that, you know, every day you feel like you want to be here. So another reason why we wanted to do this is we're curious to know what you guys are thinking, and we want to make sure that we weave it in when we are thinking about different events and programming for you guys. So like one here is communication, and we talk about communication literally every day in our office, and we think about ways to make sure that, you know, are we communicating with you guys? You guys feel like you guys know what's happening, and that's something we'll talk a little bit more today. So back in the winter of 2021, our office, along with a couple of postdocs that were volunteer postdoc interns, so they worked closely with us, we actually sat down for a couple of days and we talked about where would we want our postdoc office and the community to be in 5 years. So we sat down there, we did one of these like SWOT analysis where you're thinking about what your strengths and weaknesses are and where are missing gaps and who are our collaborators. And we came up with, albeit a very long, ambitious document, but we came up with a 5-year plan. And at the top, we have a mission statement, which I'm just going to let you sit here and read it because I think it relates to a lot of the values that you guys mentioned in the previous slide. And this is what we sort of keep in the back of our head when we're thinking about why is it that we do what we do. And going forward, using that 5-year plan, we highlighted what our priority initiatives are. And for the past year to 2 years now, these are the areas that we're focusing on. And this is where we're actually jumping in to go on a deeper dive today. So you can see that we broke up our initiatives by the different values of our organization. So performance, I feel like this is very, I don't know, like this is like the most obvious and direct one, which is you guys are probably thinking about achieving what you guys set out to do. For us, this past previous year, we've been working hard at streamlining the annual review. And you'll hear a little bit about that, as well as the exit survey that postdocs take when they leave. And in the future, we're going to be working on building up a more robust virtual career development library. We actually have a lot of career development that we've recorded over the pandemic, but we haven't figured out a good way to share it with you guys, as well as what can you be with a PhD, where we have, just hours and hours of content that I think you guys could really benefit from. Respect is really about communicating and listening and recognizing each other's contribution, which we've been working really hard at making sure that people know what a postdoc is here at this organization. And I know that that's just an ongoing thing. And we'll talk about the other stuff later. Integrity is about fostering that high level of trust and honesty, which we have the members of the PDA Council here to talk more about that. Diversity is always like the cornerstone of a lot of the things that we do, and we'll talk a little bit about what we've been doing in that arena, as well as one of the largest values was excellence. Like, how do we hold ourselves to the highest level of your postdoctoral contributions here? And then with that, I'm going to hand it over to Keith, who's going to be jumping into some of the areas about performance. Yeah, and you have to talk on the mic, otherwise they can't hear.
Does this one work? One of the reasons I hate this is I'm so short, it's hard to see me from most podiums, but okay, here. Wow, I can't see.
Want your glasses?
No, they're the wrong color. This is the wrong slide. See what?
Oh, I see. These are the speaker notes, which you don't have. Sorry, I don't know what to do.
No. Okay, so the annual review is open to, can you raise your hands if you got your annual review notification? You did not? Did you get it? Yeah, if you got it, raise your hand. And if you did it, keep your hand up. Okay. That's okay. Like there's a deadline, and I always push deadlines, so I appreciate that. But we're getting good response rate. This year we made changes based on how things went last year, and one of the unique things about this annual review is we're running it. Like, this is being run by the postdoc office. It's not being run by HR. It's not part of Focus. It's not part of any other bigger group. So it's just our group doing the whole thing. So Kathy and Fatima worked all year putting the nuts and bolts of that together to try to make it effective. And we want it to be better. So we want your feedback on how it can be improved. But I'd just say, like, keep in mind, like, this is a human effort, and we're doing our best to make it useful for you. And it is a sort of foundation of everything that we're putting together in terms of everything that RT just said about career development, about getting faculty engaged and getting their buy-in into everything that we're doing. Having this document and setting goals and being able to communicate with your PI about them is essential. Like, nothing else is going to work if you don't have that going. And so we're working to change the culture here to make it not that career development, going to our classes and workshops, is some extra thing, but that it's integrated and it's part of the reason that you're here. And we had that to a great extent before the pandemic, and we're trying to reintroduce that sort of cultural expectation that people, these are things that you should be doing, and you should be looking for opportunities to learn more, to develop your career, and that it's part of your professional development. And we're here to foster it. We're not here to make you do it. So these are the purposes. One, like, is to build a record of, you know, how people's performance has been going over their time here at NYU, and then overall. So we made changes to how that survey was done based on the results that we got last year. And hopefully this is both more simplified and more meaningful as far as what's being put into that. Last year, we got 97% of the postdocs completed it, and almost 88% overall. So faculty completed their end of it too. One of the problems we had was the faculty didn't get the review until after the postdoc completed it, and we gave you both the same deadline. So a lot of postdocs waited until almost the last minute to do their part, and then their PI had no time left to do it. So don't blame the faculty too much for having a lower completion rate than that. So this year, the postdocs have till February 20th, and then the PIs have, or January 20th. January 29th. Deal. Okay. Oh, there's too many words on here. Yeah. RT.
So there's a question on this year's review about like what career path you guys want to go down. So this year we made it anonymous. Your PI won't see that version. So we were trying to use that because we realized last year that we're asking questions that when you're reading it, you're like, well, my PI is going to read this, so maybe I'm not going to think seriously about what it is I want. So that question is anonymous. I believe, right, Kathy? It might
So, yeah, there are actually a couple sections that are going to be anonymous, and we say if they're in your PI will not see this.
And we put that there not because we want to know your secret, but what we want to know is when we're building our career development, whether or not this is a need that's not being met. So it helps us for you guys to consider that question with some.
That's a great point, because last year, a majority of people said they want to be PIs. And I would say, like, based on the number of postdocs I've talked to who definitely don't want to be PIs, that is impossible to be true. But it sort of undercuts what we're doing, right? Like, if everybody says they want to be PIs, then the PIs are like, why the hell are you doing all of these other things that are teaching people stuff they don't want to do? And I'm like, well, maybe they were lying. So we don't want to call anybody out, but I know who you are. We could do something like that. Don't make me do that. Just be honest with it. But we do want to respect, and I do understand why people would do that, because they think their PI, that's what they want to hear, and they want to stay in the PI's good graces. So, okay. So January 29th, postdoc deadline. Then we give the faculty 3 more weeks to get that all done. And then you will get a copy of the final evaluation from that. And on the PI side, what we did, instead of just them seeing like how you rated yourself on all of these skills, because the PIs almost didn't change a single one of those last year. So there was virtually no change. We've asked the PIs to say, like, what are your top strong areas and areas where you most need to improve? And they have to give specific things. They can't just be like, yep, done, and be on with that. So we hope that that is helpful to you. But I also know, like, if you get something where it says, like, you're not so good at these things, just know that your PI is required to put something there. They can't just say you're the best at everything. Even if you are, they can't do that. So we got results from the postdoc exit survey, and this is a compilation of, I think, 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Thanks, Kathy. So 207 postdocs responded. That was, do you have the percentage? It's like 56% completion rate, actual response rate, right? I remember. More than half of the postdocs who left answered the survey, which I think was really good. And you can just see basically, like, these are the results. They're color coded, like green is good, red is bad. And this pretty well aligns with what we're seeing in the engagement survey for postdocs who are here. And it does help us engage administration in changing policies where needed. It helps us measure, like, when we make changes, does it have any impact on people's attitudes and behaviors in these kinds of surveys. So we'll continue to do that. We can't change the questions. Like this is a standard question bank that goes out to all employees when they leave. So we can't tailor it to postdoc specific things, but we can try to interpret this data and at least look at trends on this. Good. And so, you know, part of this, both the engagement survey and all, you know, we don't need to do a survey to know that postdocs are underpaid and feel underpaid. And so this is a huge issue nationwide. And so this year we increased the minimum salary to 70,000. This, I believe, is the third year in a row that we increased like pretty substantially the minimum salary. This can be a little confusing too, because it's an or. So the minimum went up to 70,000, but you could also have gotten a 6% raise, whichever was greater, whichever like was to the benefit of the individual postdoc is what you got. And then so going forward, postdoc merit increase will be tied and will be the same as what the regular employees get in their increase. So I would say like 6% is the largest salary increase that the institution has given in my time here since 2008. It's typical like 3 to 4% is what the normal employee increases are. And that's so just to know, like for the first time, we're like tied in with all the other employees at the institution. And this again, like puts us right at the top of New York City institutions. And I would expect, you know, as in upward pressure continues, we'll continue to keep pace with that. But I think this was a really good step forward. Yeah, Shirley.
Yeah, there was a great thing about this scale.
Yeah.
Now just flat 70 and the scale is gone.
Yeah, so the scale last year was new. And this year, the lowest, like 70,000 is higher than the highest level on that scale. And so so the short answer is the scale will be gone, and is not coming back in a formal way like that. But because each year you're required to get an increase, in effect, the scale is just embedded into policy that way, but it's not set separate. Yeah, so the question is, can you still negotiate with your PI separately? Yes, you can. You can be paid more than the minute. Like, so we're setting, these are minimum standards. You can certainly negotiate for more than that. Where this sort of does change is this is every December 1st. So getting raises in the middle of the year makes this process harder. So it may be like we're going to probably rotate out and try to do increases only December 1st or not both. So this was a weird year for this, where people got increases in, say, like August or October, and then another increase or not in December. So just know, like for most of the other employees, you don't get increases at any other time except annually at December 1st. Or if you got a promotion, then your salary would change. Any other questions on salaries? Yeah. Yeah, let's take a break on that happy note and get free pizza and coffee. And so
I get pizza and coffee and come back to the air machine.
okay, we're gonna start back. Yeah, pay attention, Martin. Your turn is coming. So another area that we've really been focused on, and I think is an important one, is getting faculty buy-in sort of into this whole idea that postdocs are here to develop their careers, not just to generate data to support their PI's careers. And although, like, I would say most faculty do appreciate this and do believe that, sometimes on a day-to-day, like, life, they may not always sort of live up to those ideals. And there are some faculty who still don't believe that any of these things are good or helpful or important. And so we're working to change those. And we can't force people to change what they believe, but we can give more opportunities to build and work with collaborative faculty to help reinforce these good ideas, and to see that when the postdocs are well treated, well trained, and are happy, they do better work. And so we see this as good for everyone. We're not trying to decrease your productivity in the lab. We're trying to make sure that when you leave, you are the most well-prepared postdoc that you can be. And that should be self-evident that that's what everybody wants. And it's hard to argue against that. So one thing we do, like the first thing we just did, we reintroduced the STAR course. That's our scientists training as academic researchers. This was one of our very first courses that we started in 2009 or so, and it had been dormant through COVID. And so this year we got faculty engaged to cover all the sections of that. And I think it was a really good and successful course in both providing good content for the postdocs, but also good engagement, like from postdocs to the faculty who are participating in that, and to build from that. That's part of our plan. Working with the annual review to show, like, within the review, it's required to talk about what further career development are you going to be engaged in. So it's not seen as extra, but it is written up and it's incorporated directly into that. We're working on better communication with faculty and the department administrators. This is always difficult because there's no shortage of information provided from so many outlets. So it's like, how do we get the right message to the right people at the right time so that they see it and act on it? But working on that, working on getting our course catalog out there. So that's already on one of our websites, but getting people to learn to go and check that and see what's there. And working on info sessions for faculty, particularly new faculty who are coming here, to talk about all the things that we can do to help them engage their postdocs, to help them recruit postdocs, to help them train their postdocs better. And we think, like, this is a better way of approaching it than trying to convince people who don't want to be convinced that something is a good idea. We're just going to beat them with numbers and work around them and make sure that the people who want to do the things that we think are important have all the tools that they need to do that. And so here's just a glimpse of our current course catalog. These things are growing and evolving, but coming up right now, Bedside to the Bench, a really interesting translational science course that's ongoing. Scientific Integrity is coming up starting in February 6th. So if you haven't taken ethics as a postdoc, you should be taking that with us next month. Coming up in the spring, there's Project Management, the Business of Science, and the Fundamentals of Teaching. Those are all going to be really good. Summer, we'll bring back our K99 R00 workshop, which, if you haven't taken it, it's one of the best, and I think is super helpful. If anyone's planning to write a K, you should definitely take that because it makes all the difference. And then fall, Drug Development, STAR, and Science Policy and Advocacy. Just remembered. RT and I also, we want to engage you directly in your plan. So we're going to set up a calendar invite so you can go online on Calendly and set up one-on-one sessions with RT or myself or both of us to go over what you're thinking and to give you our best advice on how to make that happen. So we've always had an open door. We always welcome you to come in, but realizing that doesn't really facilitate people actually doing it. We're going to set up calendars and you can just click on a link and make an appointment to show up. So we're looking forward to having that set up. I think it's ready to go. We just haven't released it. But we're gonna send an email out about that. RT?
So the QR code is for the
No.
course catalog.
Oh,
We made a course catalog for you guys. It's somewhat static and dynamic at the same time because it has a list of all the things that we have offered in the past. And we highlight the ones that are going to be active. This is what Fatima worked on while she was here. And one thing that I really appreciated that she made was there's tabs that you can actually choose to say, you know, I'm interested in the industry track, or I'm interested in the government track, or communications. And it resorts the different courses and offerings to say, okay, these are the things that might be good for you. And that's a question that we get commonly. We get emails that say, hey, I'm interested in doing that. What should I be taking? Or what do you guys have to offer? And this is not written in stone. A lot of times we have different people who say, hey, I can teach this thing. Can I come to your university or research center and talk about this? So we say, for sure. So this week we have something for those who are interested in bio entrepreneurship or going down the route of, you know, venture capitalism and biotechnology. We have an info session of one of the largest VC firms out there, Flagship, who is coming to town and they want to pick up. So things like that is always really important to just keep aware of. Where the course catalog has a dashboard. We call it our SuperNet, and it does have like an up-to-date what's happening this week. So that's another thing that you can look at in concurrent with your course catalog.
yeah, right on, surely.
Just got about links in the emails.
The course catalog is not linked to the emails, but the newsletter you get is linked to the course catalog. So when you're looking at the newsletter and you're seeing, yeah,
Is there a button that I can click to go to the course catalog?
Kathy.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I bet next Monday there will be.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. And this, again, I would say like this all is in direct response to communications and requests from the postdocs, where like you ask for things, we do our best to make those things happen. So it's another good example. Yeah, Shahin.
Are we still allowed to do that with you?
Sorry, say that part again. Yeah, so postdocs should still be allowed to audit any of the Vilcheck PhD courses. That policy hasn't changed, but that's again like that's a school policy, not a postdoc policy. But it leads to like there's been questions about tuition remission and things like that we'll get to that postdocs don't get, but you should be able to audit any of the School of Medicine courses here, just not for credit. So, yeah. All right. I think it's Kathy's turn now. Get to rest. Recognition.
Hey, everybody. So I'm going to talk about postdoc recognition, which is very important to us because we want to not only make sure that people know what a postdoc is and what they do at our institution, but we want you to feel like you're celebrated and recognized for your achievements. So in the last couple of years, we've been working really hard on several things. The first being every week you get a newsletter. If you ever have read the whole thing and scrolled all the way down, there is a postdoc corner and there's a kudos section where I do try to put as many of the things that I could find on there that are achievements from our postdocs. If there's anything that you want to see on there, we do have this link, let us know here, which I don't know if a lot of people are aware of, but if you want us to highlight any of your achievements, you can click there and fill out that form, or you can just email us directly and we'll make sure that people are seeing it. Another way is we, in the last couple of years, launched our Twitter account. or X, or formerly known as Twitter account. And as much as I see from postdocs tweeting about their achievements, I try to retweet it and add a little like congratulations. Yeah, so if you have anything that you're tweeting about, just tag us at NYULH_postdocs. And then we have talked about this recently. We understand that X is now no longer that popular ever since it stopped being Twitter. We're in the talks of like trying to build more of a LinkedIn presence because a lot more people seem to be on there now. But this might be like a future project for any SciComm volunteer or intern who wants to help out. So if that's you, let us know. One thing that we made a lot of progress on this year is that we started putting a lot more postdocs on the TV screens all around campus so that we're broadcasting not just to you guys in the newsletter or to like people in the public, but also people in this institution can see that the postdocs are achieving big things. So this is just a couple of examples of things that have shown up in the science building. Are there other buildings that have TV screens? I mostly see them in the science building. But
One park has it, but
One
I
park.
think also, yeah, I think it's mostly the science building and the walkway through Murphy. Like, I think that is now being updated as well. And
Okay.
this is a really big deal because communications never let any one of us touch those TV screens. We had no access to them. So I think
Yeah.
it's about 2 years worth of email and then finding the right person to finally say, yeah, this is really important.
Yeah, only recently and they seem now very eager to like highlight postdocs. So yeah, if there's anything that you want us to be putting up there, like if you got a really big grant, definitely let us know and we can get it up on a screen. During National Postdoc Appreciation Week, even there's like the whole wall of TV screens in the science building. They were just circling, rotating postdoc achievements for the entire week, only postdocs to highlight them. So that was really cool. So then speaking of Postdoc Appreciation Week, this is something that we've really ramped up in the last 2 years. The actual National Appreciation Week is only 1 week in September. But, you know, seeing as we wanted to kind of build back some steam after the pandemic, we decided that we wanted to do a whole month of events. And we've been doing that for the last 2 years. And I think it might be here to stay because people really enjoy it. For this September, we did 5 events. So we had the Postdoc Carnival, the Puppuccino Party, which is meant to be like a mental health break. And we brought in puppies during the coffee hour for you guys to play with. We have a Postdoc Cruise. And then for a more research-oriented event where we can showcase to the institution your achievements, we had the Postdoc Slam, which was a competition where our finalists, they competed to give 3-minute talks on their research, and then the winners got cash prize. And then, you know, at the end of the month, we're like, that's not enough. We want one more. So we did a family-friendly apple picking after that. And not only was it a bunch of events to make you guys happy and to highlight your achievements, we were also giving out cash prizes. So we gave out, we did a competition for the Outstanding Postdoc Award. 5 postdocs won this year. There was also an Outstanding Mentor Award for a mentor that is very good with mentoring their postdocs. And then we had 3 Postdoc Slam winners for winning the best talks of their Postdoc Slam. So overall, 8 postdocs and 1 mentor got cash prizes, and this was like straight to their paycheck, and over $14,000. We also had some local businesses provide gift cards for a Postdoc Carnival raffle, if you remember trying to guess the weight of Wilbur, Keith's pig. And then we also had a bunch of custom designed t-shirts for everybody. And I think I'm going to hand this over to the council.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Martina, and I'm the chair of this year's Postdoc Council. First things first, I want to propose an applause for the great work that the Postdoc office has been doing and it keeps doing, because they're an amazing group, and we are very lucky to have them, also for the free pizza, of course. And this one is your laptop. So this is our second year as an elective postdoc council. We are an active group of postdocs that collaborates a lot with the postdoc affair, and we work a lot on community building and try to diversify your career programming. As I said, this was the second year that we got elections, and so a big shout out to last year's postdoc council. So the 2023 team and my teammates. So 10 postdocs this year ran for elections and for leadership positions. The turnout was pretty okay, but it shows that there's room for improvement. So we will have to work on our visibility, but it's already great that people have gone and voted for their representatives. It was concluded with a General Assembly meeting that we're going to do every year, where we present the new council, present our advancements, and we answer any general questions. So this is your new team for this year. Please have a look at the faces of their names. So if you know them, if you don't, try and meet up as many people as possible. And as I said, we're a team of very motivated people that are here because we really want to create this community building. We want to, enforce this community. So I'm going to go quickly over to our values and goal because I think it's really important for you to know why we're here for. And so first of all, we want to foster community building. And of course, the PDO is already doing that. We have like a sweet position because we are postdoc as you are. So we can have a better idea of the struggles that that we all are going through. And it might be easier for you to come and talk to us. We want to support and foster belonging, inclusivity, and diversity in our community. Help postdocs integrate at the NYU GSM community. This has still a lot of work in progress that I'm going to briefly talk about. Support postdocs career training for the future transition, represent and advocate for the postdocs, of course, together with the PDO, and be a bridge basically between the postdocs and the administration. But of course, to do that, we need to know what you guys need. And we love to organize events where you also can volunteer so that the events will be as you like them the most, and also it helps creating a network of people that know each other. So we need your help to organize the events, to know what kind of initiatives you would like to see, and in general, any kind of feedback. So we're going to start working even better on that. But we would love to hear from you. So I'm just going to briefly go over the activities that we set up last year. These are activities that are the Postdoc Council independently runs. The first one is the weekly coffee hour that you probably are all familiar with. So this is organized by the council, but every week 2 volunteers brew the coffee. So one way to participate. The happy hour that is held, it is held every 2 months in a bar. The game nights that are held on campus, and also this is led by 2 volunteers every time. So again, think about new games that you want to propose to people. And then the thing that came out last year that brought a lot of new postdocs here is the special coffee hours for World Celebration. We've been seeing a lot of new faces, which is awesome, and we think that it was a great way to recruit and to integrate many more people. Other events that we've organized during the past year were the Postdoc Town Hall, where we used the question and the Q&A session to answer to the NIH request for information on postdoc well-being, the Disability Roundtable to raise awareness on disability in academia, and the latest is the PDA Community Icon Competition. That was a way to offer a visual icon that identifies our values. So some things that we're going to work on in this coming year are, for example, we want to focus on mental health and try to find ways to better respond to this and bring more awareness of the importance of mental health in our community. Continue to recruit more and more postdocs. This will help us to organize even more awesome events as you like them. We're gonna advocate for financial health for our postdocs, reach more postdocs by diversifying our offer. We will work closely with the PDO and administration to amplify your career development offer, because this is something that we all very much care for. And we will also work together with the PDO for the career mentorship program, and also strategize a welcome pack for the new postdocs. These are some of the things that we're thinking about. So as I said, we need your feedback and we need your suggestions and we need your ideas. So if you want to, these are some of the QR code that you guys are more than welcome to scan. The first one is if you want to volunteer for the coffee hour, you get more information on that when you scan the QR code. It's once every 3 months. If more people come, it's going to be even less frequent, and it gives you a big opportunity to connect with people that you don't know. If you want to sign up for volunteering in general and also to give any suggestion, please scan the second one and follow us on Instagram, because another way to follow us and know what is going to happen is to follow us on Instagram. Our communication committee is always posting. So again, as I said, this I think is the most important thing. Let's keep communicating and tell us what you guys are going through. Because again, we know what it means to be a postdoc. Also the PDO knows, but we're still postdocs as you. So please reach out if you have anything that you want to say to us. And even today, please reach out to people that are wearing this beautiful high-tech pin. Introduce yourself, say hi, and we will try to improve this piece for future events, I promise. But please come and say hi. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, thanks, Martina. Really nice. Definitely get involved. Like, take the opportunity. There's virtually like an hour would be helpful. So like, you don't have to do everything, just do one thing. And it makes a big difference in terms of everything. So I'm going to talk a little bit about postdoc benefits. And I just wanted to draw your attention for the first time, the National Postdoc Association put together a recognition program for a long time, since I was a postdoc in the dark ages when I was part of the NPA. We came up with a list of recommended practices for institutions. And this is the first time we said, like, is anybody doing those things? And we should call that out in a positive way. So you can go to their website and see this pilot report, but we were recognized by the NPA for having exemplary benefits for our postdocs, but also for our ability to extend equal benefits essentially to all of our postdocs that are here. That's not 100% true. Like, there are postdocs like Hannes in the back, not just Hannes specifically. We didn't exclude him from our benefits, but if you're not paid by NYU, so if you don't get a paycheck from us, you can't get employee benefits from an employer in New York State. But for the vast majority of postdocs, your benefits are not dependent on your funding source. And that's still a problem nationally that's being wrestled with. So we hope that by being an example here, that will not just help us, but also help other institutions overcome those same sort of structural barriers. But we want you to understand your benefits, because I know it can be very confusing and the websites are not terribly helpful in showing you what benefits you get. But a lot of what we hear from postdocs is a sort of sometimes dissatisfied or an assumption that the benefits that postdocs get are not as good as the benefits that some other group of employees here gets. And I will say, like, overall, the effort is definitely there to provide equivalent benefits, if not identical benefits, to postdocs as to any other employee. So, and tops among them, and I think most is health, dental, and vision plans that I would say, like, our health insurance for postdocs and for employees is as good as you'll find anywhere in the United States. So don't discount that when you're looking at other places, just how good our health insurance plan is and how affordable it is. But you also typically will get pre-tax benefits, so being able to contribute to commuting costs, flex spending accounts that can pay for co-pays or prescription drugs and things like that. You are eligible for the employee discounts that employees get. The notable exception here is tuition remission, and we can talk about that another time, but it is a complicated issue. The salary scale childcare, postdocs are in the same like group with all other employees in terms of being eligible for that. Plus backup daycare or backup childcare, which is a really, important benefit to have, and that a lot of postdocs don't know they have that benefit. If you need sort of after hours or weekend backup care for your kids, you can take advantage of that. Paid family leave. So something else that we've heard or we've seen either anecdotally or written is saying, like, postdocs don't get any maternity leave. That's just not true. Okay, like it's not called maternity leave. And granted, family leave and paid family leave is super complicated because it's sort of mixing together payments from a lot of different sources, including sick time, vacation time. But NYU's paid family leave is quite a good policy for postdocs who are here over a year. You get 15 days, so 3 weeks at full pay, in addition to everything else. So I don't think we're going through. Yeah, okay. You get way more than 15 days paid. That is one piece of it, but for most, it's like 15 weeks.
Yeah, for the birthing parent, you'll have 12 plus 8, roughly, give or take, weeks. So that's almost 18 to 20 weeks. Yeah, 18 to 20 weeks in general.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that more in detail. I know this is a complicated conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So paid family leave, you can contribute on a pre-tax basis to retirement account. That's a 403B for academic institutions. It's the same as a 401k that is more well-known, but is not for academia. That is not matched by the institution, but you can still contribute, and it's still financially a really good idea to do that. Vacation, 21 work days. So that's the work week is Monday through Friday officially, regardless, like if you work Sunday to Saturday, a lot of like your vacation days are 21 days. So that's 4 weeks plus 1 day of paid vacation. And you're also getting access to NYU's housing as a postdoc that very few employee groups get access to. The enhanced sort of mental health services access. So we have dedicated staff for postdocs and PhD students to help you engage with the mental health services here. And our Ombuds program, which is a confidential program. If you need to talk to somebody and get advice on any kinds of problems that you're experiencing at work, there are trained staff that can help guide you, give you advice, and just be an ear to listen to what's going on with you. Okay. Coming up. Yes. And so future plan, like we're working on this right now. We're trying to work with the benefits department to come up with a guide for postdocs, like just a visual, like what do I get? Like, what am I entitled to? And it's a lot, and it depends. Like that's the answer we get a lot. It's like, well, it depends. But so we end up with a guide that either is so complicated that no one can understand it, or so simplified that it doesn't actually help. So we're working on that. So just so you know, Sarah, do you have a question? Are there conversations about adding matching contributions? We're working, like, it's on the list, and I would say one thing that we want to do to foster this is our people contributing now on their own, because this is something that benefits is going to want to know how big this is. But what I could tell you right now is for all employees, get out of their way. I talk with my hands a lot. Very expensive. Is the vest? It's called vesting, right? So employees are not fully vested until 5 years. And so most postdocs would not ever reach the point at which the employer contribution is actually theirs. So it's more complicated than just extending that. We want people to actually get it. And so, but I would say we are on this. So good. Mhm. Is that how many people voted?
27 people.
Wow, it's almost. Oh, come on. How can that be? The math doesn't.
Well,
That's 106%.
Click on more than one answer because.
Oh, you could say no and. Okay.
Say all three.
No, don't do that, Jason. It's important. We're going right to the top with this data. Okay, so half. Let's say then, and then 9% contribute to an IRA on their own outside of that. Good. And I would say, like, if you're in the no category, there are tools like you can go online and do a calculator that will tell you how your paycheck will change based on what you contribute on a pre-tax basis. But I would say, like, broadly, most of you are probably in a 25% tax bracket federally. And so you're contributing on the money you put in comes out before your taxes are calculated. So that is the equivalent to a 25% bonus on that money that you put in right away. If you're doing in the 403B pre-tax, you would owe taxes on that when you retire, but that money is free to grow during your working years. So you can go online and say, like, if I contribute $100 pre-tax, how much does that, your paycheck would only go down $75. That's an instant good return on that money. Yes.
Benefits this year, you just like Q&A or questions.
Mhm.
For retirement as well, because I got that figured out, but data center is a lot and it's very different in a lot of other countries.
Yeah. So
Just have somebody answer like very common retirement questions.
we're definitely making plans for, like, a financial or like a retirement kind of workshop. It's been difficult finding the right people to do that, because if someone from TIAA craft, the retirement people, they assume like everyone's American and they understand like the American system. So that's not super helpful.
Like telling you that they are not allowed to.
Yeah. Right. Look, I'm not allowed. I didn't give you advice just now. Just to be clear, that was just a story I was telling out loud. Yeah. Martin?
I just want to say that the council also has this as a plan, the advocacy committee, to work on like a better way to communicate all these benefits, and especially the retirement plan. So if you have anything also you want to share, Shawan, for example, is the best, is a good person to ask for, to ask to, and of course.
Good. Yeah. Okay. To move it on. It's RT now.
Just want to be mindful of the time. So for our diversity priority initiatives, I first want to just give a shout out to Shauhan, who has worked so diligently last year, making sure that we had these diversity focused coffee hours that we've noticed that so many people come to. And I feel like that has really brought our community together. There are other DEI related events and programming that we've been working on, but something that has been happening for quite a few years, like since 2020, we've been working on this pilot program called the Scholar to Faculty Pathway Program. Let me just jump this slide and I'll come back. So the Scholar to Faculty Pathway Program, SFP, is a program that we kind of use as shorthand as the Fast Track to Faculty Program, where we are trying to help increase the diversity of our faculty here at NYU Langone. So I am in rooms in meetings where people very quickly say we don't have enough underrepresented minorities as faculty members here at our organization. And this is something that we want to help change. There's a lot of people that work on more of the clinical side of the hospital that's making sure that this is being recognized and targeted and moving forward. And we also wanted to work in lockstep with them to make sure that we have something that is, from the clinical perspective, have something in the basic sciences too. So what that means is that we are looking into people who are postdoctoral fellows that have shown a lot of promise in their academic track record. And as we all might know at this point, we all have different backgrounds. So we're trying to level the playing field for people to have an opportunity to become faculty, and perhaps they want to be faculty here at Langone. So the Scholar Faculty Program has quite a few benefits. It's a cohort model, meaning that we accept multiple people into the program every year. They get a competitive salary supplement in addition to what they're already being paid by their PI. They get additional funding for research, for like everything within the realm of professional development. So conference support, if they're external that are coming in and joining a lab, that we help them out with housing, relocation, childcare support. And while we can't actually force somebody's hand, a department chair's hand, to say they have to become faculty, they're given strong consideration, meaning we get to be in the room with a lot of leadership when it comes to talking about how we're planning to grow particular departments, and are these scholars actually, fitting with where that vision is going. So I'm happy to say that we have actually already accepted our inaugural cohort this past year. And just really quickly, I just want to congratulate Sean, Ishmael, Ariel, who's in the room, Kim and Carmen. Is anybody else here in this room that's a scholar? Okay. They have, been very patient with us as we've been trying to, smooth out the kinks. As I mentioned to you guys, there's 47K people working at this institution. So just getting all of this streamlined and on board has been a real feat, but I'm very proud to say that we have this cohort. Everybody's kind of in different areas. So who knows, might see some of them be our future faculty, knock on wood. And I would love to talk to you guys more about it. I'll be working on this program a lot more intimately moving forward. So if you guys have any ideas of how to enhance the breadth of diversity here, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we could talk about. But I just want to have Kathy wrap this up with talking about our community support, so we have some time for questions at the end.
Okay. So another thing that's really important for us is community building. And I can say personally, having been a postdoc here at this institution and knowing postdocs at other institutions is something that I find quite unique, is that everyone is all the postdocs here are so social, especially across departments. And after the pandemic, that kind of energy has kind of died down a little bit. So we kind of in the last 2 years have worked really hard in trying to build that back up. And I think we're happy to say that energy is almost back to pre-pandemic levels. You can see some pictures of these are just events that we had in the last year. Surfing holiday party, the Pride events, and the kayak day. So overall, and this isn't just events thrown by our office, but also by the council, altogether for the postdocs, we've had 32 community activities this year. So all the ones that Martina has mentioned from the council, the happy hours, the game night, the 32 is not including coffee hour because that's weekly. And then we have like the Halloween and holiday parties. We've had all the Pride events. We had sports events, surf day, kayaking, Gotham. We have the council does a lot of listening sessions by the postdocs. So many ways that everyone can get involved and get to know each other and get to know their community and feel happy here. But kind of this year, one of the first things that we did was we wanted to see how much we have bounced back since the pandemic. And we do have data. Believe it or not, we do data analysis in our office. So we have all of the people who registered. We have registration data. We don't take attendance at all these events, so we don't sometimes know who actually attended. But in the past year, we have had 604 postdocs, and 62% have registered for a social event, and 29% have registered for career development. And there's a little bit of overlap there, but what we kind of realize is that there's at least a third of postdocs that we're not reaching to attend anything unless they're attending coffee hour, which isn't counted in here. So some of the future plans that we're really hoping to focus on, and this is our efforts along with, we're going to be working with the postdoc council, is how do we reach that third of postdocs that are not registering for anything. And we do have data also what departments they're in and what departments have a low registration attendance rate, and if maybe there's some correlation there. So we kind of want to work together to maybe reach department admins, maybe have postdoc representatives or liaisons within departments that can help spread the words. And if you guys have any other ideas, we're definitely open to it, how to reach these people and get everyone involved. So kind of on that note, we wanted to know from you guys, how do you currently stay informed of postdoc related events? So I'm hearing we should send out a lot more email. Okay, Slack.
At least someone's reading it.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for reading my emails. And thank you for reading my newsletter. Okay. Yeah. So I am guessing like emails and newsletters, how most of you like to get your information. Yeah, so reaching a lot more of you guys by email, maybe targeted emails from the departments. Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, and then, you know, just maybe some other ideas that we had is like Martina mentioned with the council, we want to work on providing incoming new postdocs with better resources by creating a welcome packet. And then also we do need to update the postdoc handbook. So RT, do you want to wrap it up? Or?
Interesting. Oh, I know what's happening. Okay. So thank you, Kathy. So we just wanted to use the last 4 minutes of today to give you guys a chance to ask questions. So what we thought we would do is if you go on Slido using the QR code, there should be a tab that says Q&A. So there, I think these are just errors. So you could actually ask a question and other people can upvote. So it might be actually nice for us to answer some questions here today by posting your Q&A, and we'll just wait for what gets upvoted and we can start to try to answer them. And it can be anything about the stuff that we talked about today. It could be something that you've had of an idea from something that we mentioned when we're asking you guys for feedback, and we could talk about that as well. And it could be something that we haven't discussed at all. And maybe we can answer some of that right now too. Oh, you guys can't see it, huh? 1 second. Well, I'm so confused. They were able to see it 2 seconds ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not presentation. Do it. No, that's this one. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. These are good questions. Yeah, I believe even though all the questions are not showing up on the screen when you're actually looking at it, when you can write down the question, you could see what other people are writing and you can upvote there. Yeah, they're all here. Yeah, I also have them here. Okay, I'm going to start answering some of these questions along with Keith, and you guys just keep putting stuff in and uploading or upvoting. A couple of years ago, the PDO organized alumni networking events, and it was very helpful. Will there be an alumni event, networking event again? Answer is yes. We always do an alumni event, at least one every year. And just to note, What Can You Be with a PhD has an overwhelming number of former NYU Langone alums that actually are speakers. So they're also there for being introduced to and talking with. But we don't have a date for it just yet.
Yeah, does vacation roll over to the next year? Do I use it or lose it? It does not roll over. So it is use it or lose it. Postdocs are still not part of the My Time, like time tracking system. So none of your days are formally tracked and banked. So it would be even harder to try to roll that over. But that's a use it or lose it. And then could I do the W-2? W-2s should be available by the end of January. I think that's the law. And I think we wait like anyway, it'll be by the end of January, it'll be available. Know that your past W-2s are stored on behind the firewall on the Inside Health. So when you leave the institution, you are going to lose access to that. So just know, like when you leave, if you're going to need access to old W-2s, you need to get those before you leave. Otherwise, it's harder to retrieve them.
About the Scholar to Faculty program, how large are the cohorts and how often? So currently we're working out all the little details, but we have like a soft promise with leadership that we are able to bring up to 5 people per cohort. And we so we're opening up the applications this year for it to start. People will get accepted into the program and start this September. And we have it on like good word that we could do it either every year or every other year. It just depends the postdocs that get into the program, how long it'll take for them before they're on the job market. So it, like, for example, if we were to get a whole bunch of people who are in their 4th year and then they're ready to only be in the program for 1 year and then start on the job market, then we would be bringing quite a few faculty into the fold. So then that might delay the next cohort. So it's all staggered. And there was another one that was related to it. Does it have a designated tenure line? There's like a global understanding of how faculty get, how there's tenure faculty lines across the board from all the departments. So SFP just kind of is understood that they'll be wrapped into that global strategic hiring of faculty.
Ski trip. Yeah, we're looking into that. to bring it back, the company that we worked with for the ski trip went out of business during COVID, and so finding somebody to manage that for us has been difficult this year, but hopefully we can bring it back next year.
Can we take extra days of vacation if the PI agrees?
No.
Yes.
We will find you. Back to the bench. Yeah. Yes, you can. If your PI, like, yes. Is this being recorded?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's recorded to the cloud. I think those are all the questions. Is there any,
What was the last one?
can we get a tax refund even if we're planning to stay more than 2 years in the US? And does NYU have a tax advisor service to help postdocs with spouses with different statuses or not when it comes to filing their taxes?
Wow, those are complicated questions. I'm assuming the first one is about tax treaties, and can you use every country has a different tax treaty with the US, so that would depend. We don't have tax, just like we don't give advice on anything. We definitely don't give tax advice, but we do have what is the tax prep software?
Sprint tax.
So Sprint tax is basically like TurboTax for non-residents. And so if you're non-resident for tax purposes, you can use Sprint tax to do your taxes.
I think those are it.
That's it. Any other questions? Okay. All right, cool.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
Thank you for this. This is like very easy. And because there's a thing. Yeah, it's, I think it's clean, like it's not like trying to. Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't. I think we're like, please just grab it.